We are live. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. I think we probably got a minute or so to get started. You don't see anyone on yet, which is good. I guess we're not started. What is today? 24th? Yeah, 24th. All right, we got probably, we're gonna do another minute or so, and see if we get a couple people in so we get started. Hi, my name is Derek, and with this Cherry Blossom CBD. We are Cherry Blossom CBD, and this is our weekly Facebook Live series called Hemp Fact Fridays. This is maybe the fourth in our series so far. So we have done, what have we done? A couple topics. I don't remember where they are, but this week's topic, this is maybe the third. And then we did anxiety, we did arthritis last week, and this week is where does hemp oil come from? So we're going to talk a little bit about, hey, Candy, how are you? Candy, thank you for the support. I love it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about where the sources of hemp oil, how they're different, how they may be similar, and you can kind of decide yourself like what's for you. So one of the main reasons why we do this series is to inform and clarify the truths about hemp oil, about cannabinoids and terpenes. So when you are in the market for hemp oil or any hemp oil-based product, whether it be a topical, a hair product, a tincture, anything, gummies, vape cartridges, what have you, you can shop with confidence because you have gained a little bit wider and clearer base of knowledge on what you're purchasing, or at least what you had before you started watching this series. And if that's what we're accomplishing, then that's kind of a success for us. So this is not meant to be a sales pitch by any means. We represent ourselves enough, I think, between that and the shirt, but we do want people to walk away with a little bit more than just, oh, CBD is great, and we think it is, but so we base our topics around questions that people ask us or that tend to circle around this industry or around certain products. Maybe it's topics that we think deserve a little bit more clarity. And I think right now, and in the last year or so, that people have been hearing a lot more about CBD, CBD oil, hemp oil. Are they the same? Is cannabis oil? Are they all the same? What are they? Am I going to get high? So that's a lot. Like if you're trying to find something that's going to help you, that's a lot of weight on your head. We already have a lot to think about. I think we've got a lot more to think about in the last couple of weeks. But so we're going out and trying to find something that'll help us and trying to find supplements. There's always a little bit of homework to do anyway on your own, but if I can do some of that for you and present this here at Fridays at noon, then, hopefully that we find that helpful. So also we understand that studies on both hemp and medical marijuana are relatively new. I think in the last 10 to 20 years, there have been a little more studies done on medical marijuana and more recently hemp and CBD. Probably more so, again, I think more so on the medical marijuana side. I think we have a better understanding of what those things do and how those compounds work. But CBD, again, like just in the last 5 or so years, at least in 2013, so that's 7 years, that we have been talking about this subject, and it's been gaining more popularity. And I think people do want to know like what is available to them and how this can help me. So that's said, let's talk about where hemp oil is coming from, and I think what it can do for you. So we're going to talk about there's 3 different sources generally for hemp oil, and that is cannabis oil, and we'll come back to that statement in a second. That is hemp seed oil, and that is hemp oil. So we're going to start talking about hemp seed oil. We'll talk about that first. I think most of our lives, there has been a hemp product that's been more accepted. It's been hemp seeds. There's really not too much psychoactivity going on there, really none, just as in hemp. They're grown and designed that way in a way. So Let's talk about hemp seeds. Hemp seed oil is made from hemp seeds. It's a cold pressed product, sort of like olive oil. It's nutrient rich, like CBD oil, but hemp oil does not have the cannabinoid content, cannabinoids, however you want to say it, of CBD oil. It's actually a fraction of. So if CBD oil is not going to get you high, or hemp oil is not going to get you high, then hemp seed oil is definitely not going to do that. So a lot of what hemp seed oil it contains, just sort of like hemp oil. Again, there's hemp and hemp seed oil. So we're talking about hemp seed oil right now, just for the sake of clarity. Contains amino acids, fiber, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Also, there's vitamin mineral content in there. I'm not sure exactly which vitamins or minerals, but maybe we'll dig into something like that another day. Hemp seed oil is made, again, by cold pressing the seeds like olive oil. And the seeds produce a greenish gold colored oil that is slightly nutty in flavor. People use these for different products, different food products. I think probably more overseas are putting hemp seed oil in foods, but in some, here too. I think some companies have been doing that for a while. Bars and health foods, you may be able to find hemp seed oil as a kitchen oil, like in you're more likely to find in some more health food stores and things like that. But it is, they do use it in food products, cosmetics, hair and skin products. There are anti-inflammatory and skin moisturizing properties in hemp oil. It is an oil, so it's going to moisturize. And also hemp seed oils are used as carrier oils for tinctures. So that if you, I know we might have addressed this before, but if you extract a straight hemp extraction off of the plant, that extraction is probably not going to be too palatable. So you're going to need some sort of oil to mix that in. They call those carrier oils. Sometimes those carrier oils are hemp oil, sometimes hemp seed oils, sometimes olive oil, coconut oils, MCT oils, things like that. So those are pretty much the uses for hemp seed oil. So let's talk about marijuana oil, okay? Or what they call cannabis oil. Now, I say that because cannabis oil you can use that term to, in a way, apply to almost all three of these because they are from the same family, the same genus and the same family. Genus, not genius, okay? And that is, cannabis is the genus, and Cannabaceae, I hope I'm saying that right, is the family. And that family includes two other types of plants. One is the humulus plant, which we know as hops. So hops are the plant that is used to make flavored beer. Those hops are generally treated, I think they're fermented, of course, and then brewed into beer. And the other one is called Celtis. And I think the only thing that I knew was made was a Celtis. I think it was called hackberry. Some are called like beaverwood trees or trees. And I don't know if they have any relationship to anything else here, but they're just in the same, other than the fact they're in the same, botanical family. Now, that statement is important, the botanical family statement, because this is where we start to understand the separation of these particular plants and unassociate, I guess because of the way we've been taught and the way that, and rightfully so. I mean, plants are sometimes in the same family. They are related, but in our minds, we've kind of built a stronger relationship between these two plants. When I say that, I'm talking about cannabis sativa and hemp. Technically, hemp is cannabis sativa. It's just a different variety. So like you understand when we talk about citrus and we talk about oranges and limes and grapefruits, some are sweet, some are sour, some are different colors. Some are orange, some are yellow, some are green, but yet we all understand that they're in the same family. I use that example a lot because people can digest that. So it's the same thing here. Just because they're in the same family doesn't mean that they're all going to have the same impact on you as a marijuana. So let's talk about marijuana oil. We usually don't talk too much about marijuana here, but for the sake of this discussion, it is necessary because we need the separation. Again, Marijuana oil is grown for different reasons than hemp, even though they are the same. They're kind of grown, they grow naturally different. Marijuana plants are shorter and bushier, a little more flowery. Hemp plants are taller and stockier. Now, go back a lot bit, 10,000 years, I think that's when they first found, or where scientists first discovered hemp seed. And I think they're saying that hemp might even be, there is a theory that hemp might even be one of the first plants cultivated by man, because they understood the many uses for it, ropes and baskets and things like this for the industrial uses, but I have to believe they understood that there are some medicinal uses for it too. Now, if a plant is being cultivated, it makes sense that sooner or later people are going to figure out that they can, like they're doing now, sort of fuse and sort of try to determine how your plants are going to come out in yields, or how much fruit a plant's going to bear if it's a fruit plant. Here, I believe, and from what a lot of people believe and what I've studied, is that hemp is in the same cannabis family, but grown and cultivated to have minimal THC properties. So the major difference here between marijuana oil and CBD oil is the percentage of THC. Marijuana is grown to have a higher THC percentage. It's actually grown with the intent most of the time for about certain things. So most of the time the intent is to maximize THC. Also, that could be maximized flavor profile. That could be maximized certain terpenes. It could be get it to flower more and maximize yield. Hemp is almost strictly grown to maximize yield, and that is because it naturally produces more CBD than THC. Hemp produces 0.3% THC in that range. It may naturally, some strains or varieties can naturally produce more. And THC and marijuana produces quite a bit of THC. Like I said, it is the most prevalent cannabinoid in the cannabis family. It is CBD being the second. So out of all the cannabinoids that we know, all the 100 and something cannabinoids that we're aware of now, the most common and the most present, the most available is THC. The second most is CBD. Now you find those THC compounds in cannabis plants, in marijuana plants that are grow differently. Their whole focus is to be grown differently so they can maximize THC. Hemp plants are not, even in the wild. Yeah, hemp can grow almost anywhere, honestly. They don't need the special treatment that, say, marijuana plants do. But hemp plants are grown and naturally are concentrated in CBD. So most of the times when you're going to get CBD oil, it is going to come from the hemp plant. It is grown and naturally generally less than 0.3%, which is why now this is becoming such an effective and popular way of helping us with some of our ailments, because it is naturally non-psychoactive. And as you know, THC is naturally psychoactive. So we don't want to get too far off of that. We're just talking about the differences between the two. This is not a promotion of marijuana oil by any means. This is really talking about the differences between CBD oil and the others. So other differences is that, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because it is, marijuana oil is not legal in all 50 states. It's mostly in some western states and some midwestern states at this point. And I say that because it is used for both medical and recreational reasons. So for people who may need their marijuana oil or THC oil for more medicinal reasons, and you happen not to live in a state where it is legal there, then that is by any measure unfortunate. So hopefully, as we're getting further along and we're learning more about these two substances, that marijuana will become more federally legal, and people who need this as medicine can get them as medicine. Now, the other major difference between marijuana oil and CBD oil is marijuana oil can be used recreationally. There's really no need to use CBD oil recreationally because it has no recreational benefit. Not like the actual cannabis sativa or its cousin hops. They have recreational benefit. The only reason that people will use CBD oil or some sort of CBD oil based product is because they're trying to solve some sort of issue. They're trying to heal something, cure something, improve something. They're trying to improve their quality of life, not just check out generally on a Saturday afternoon because there's nothing else going on. And I'm not saying that that's what all medical marijuana use is for, but again, it can be used for recreational purposes. That is not the case with either hemp seed or hemp oil. So now we talk about sources. This is what this is about. This is what today's topic is. Let's talk about the three varieties of cannabis. And there is cannabis sativa, which is probably the most popular. That is tall, bushy plants that tend to grow higher. Indica, or shorter plants, and shorter and bushy, that tend to grow a little closer to the ground. And there's actually a third strain that we're kind of learn a little bit more about, and that is cannabis ruderalis. Now, even until a couple years ago, I myself thought this was actually a hemp plant. Hey, Ruben, how you doing? And my wife is watching too. Hey, squirrel family in effect. That's what's up. So we have, let's go back to the ruderalis. It is often confused with hemp because it is naturally low in THC content. Maybe again, it was agriculturally designed that way. Who knows? But I think it is because it is more of a cold weather. It comes from a more cold weather environment. In Russia, it is hardier. It's a little more weather resistant and cold resistant, which I would assume you'd have to be from any plant that grows in Russia. And it has a higher THC content than hemp, but a much lower THC content than the other strains of cannabis, sativa or indica. So we're not get too caught up in the ruderalis. We're just talking about the three different types of strains of cannabis. And if there is a fourth, it would be in the family. It would be hemp. So now let's get to hemp. Let's talk about the hemp oil. It's really why we're here. Okay, we have touched on the fact that the differences. I'll recap. So the major differences between hemp oil, hemp seed oil, and marijuana oil. And I'm going to call it marijuana oil today just for the sake of, we usually call it cannabis oil, but for today we're going to call it that so you understand what we're talking about. So marijuana oil, many uses, but mainly some medical, but it can be used recreationally, and it is grown to be as high in THC as whatever that strain can possibly produce. One of the major goals in growing and processing marijuana is to extract the THC and maximize that THC content. Also, to get some sort of flavor and terpene profile out of there. Okay, hemp seed oil is extracted cold pressed from the seeds of the plant. Okay, not necessarily from the stalk, and that is more for food products. We're going to use that in hair products, skin products. It does have fatty acids and omega-3s, omega-6, and vitamins, but very minimal cannabinoid content. So the benefits that you may get from the hemp oil, you're not going to get from the hemp seed oil. Can be used as a carrier oil to put an actual hemp extract that does have cannabinoid content in there, but the hemp oil is not itself. So now this is my one shameless plug. We do have a product that is called whole hemp. It is called that because it is a hemp extract with a hemp oil carrier. So you're not getting the carrier oil is not devoid of cannabinoids and terpenes and flavonoids, all the things that are helping you in conjunction with the cannabinoids that are there. Okay, in all those things, the oil and the extract both have them hence it is called whole hemp. So this is why we named that product the way that we did. So let's talk a little about hemp oil today and what the benefits are. So as we know, we talked a little bit about hemp is in the same family, cannabis sativa, and I've seen it sometimes listed as cannabis sativa L. Maybe that is just to further clarify, so when you see it on paper, that people can show there's some sort of differentiation, but I can't say that word. All these hemp cannabis are high, tall growing varieties that tend to be bushy. They're usually all of them can be used for fiber, oil, seeds, and in other industrial uses. So some of the uses for hemp oils and extracts. Hemp can produce waxes. It can produce resins. It can produce, of course, oils. It can produce, of course, the seeds, and you can produce more oils out of the seeds. Is that what the plant itself can produce? Fabric, paper, fuels, actually, biofuels and biodiesels. Two different things. They say that. I thought they were interchangeable terms, but they're actually not. Just like you have gas, you have diesels. It's biofuel and biodiesel. Rope. What else? Hemp powders and meals that you can put into foods, or you can put into pet foods, you can put in different shakes. There's places where you can just put some right into your smoothie. Well, at least there used to be when we were able to go places. Right now, there's none of that. Building materials, and also isolated compounds in powdered form like CBD, CBN, what have you. So, benefits. Now I'm gonna stop. Does anybody have any questions? Am I going too fast today? Because I know this is a lot, and I've tried to really, really dig into this because this is a real big point of confusion, and I really wanted people to get a little bit of clarity. So when they're out shopping, they see these terms, and I'm out sometimes when we're out, going into stores and such, and competing against these terms, and they all seem somewhat interchangeable. So it's very confusing for us all. So this is why, again, we're here today. So let's talk about some of the benefits. We talked about the benefits of both the cannabis oil, marijuana oil, and the hemp seed oil, but let's talk about the benefits of CBD oil or hemp oil. It is naturally helps the body. When it is ingested, and whether that be topically, whether that be orally or sublingually. Okay, in a way that's kind of a tie-in, and we'll tie that in at the end. But so those are 3 ways that you can take CBD oil: topically, orally, when like over the tongue, and sublingually, under the tongue. So this naturally helps the body create a sense of calm and relaxation. Now I say that, and that sounds like high, but it is not high, and we'll tell you how this works. Okay, it helps ease stress, and it is doing this because you yourself inside your body have an endocannabinoid system. And I say endocannabinoid system, that is a cannabinoid system that is naturally inside of the body. And we feed that with phytocannabinoids. Phytocannabinoids are those that are found inside of plants. So what happens when you ingest CBD or any cannabinoid, whether it be any of these oils? Okay, so let's say we're comparing this to the hemp oil against the actual cannabis oil. So if you're taking cannabis and the cannabis attacks your 2 receptors that you have in this, there may be 3, but there's studies to be shown. But right now we know there's 2 receptors inside your endocannabinoid system, and CB1 and CB2 receptors. THC, it generally attaches itself to your CB1 receptors. I mean, we touched on a little bit of this last week, but that controls motor skills, cognitive function, thinking, eating, that kind of thing, your level of appetite. CB2 receptors are generally more in control of pain and inflammation management. Now, the miracle is that, I think it's kind of a miracle. The miracle is that when the THC will attach to CB1 or CB2 receptors, but it doesn't really work that way with CBD. The CBD almost works on the periphery, and instead of actually attaching itself to the receptors, it acts as almost like a drill sergeant in a way, and encourages your own cannabinoids that you produce in your body to either produce more or protect and heal the ones that are existing. That's pretty cool stuff. So it is not, it's not so much things that are coming from outside of your body and changing things that are going on inside of your body. It's things that are going on outside of your body that are motivating the natural functions inside of your own body. And that, I think, is quite miraculous. Let's talk about some more of what CBD can do. It boosts moods naturally. And we say that 1 and 2, let's talk about those. Naturally helps create a sense of calm and relaxation. It helps ease stress and boosts moods naturally. It's naturally mood boosting. That's not a high. There's not enough THC or any psychoactive properties in CBD oil to get you high. How is it naturally mood boosting? going back to the statement that I just said, it is not attaching itself to your receptors. It is motivating your receptors to do the things that they're already designed to do anyways. When we talk about pain receptors, we'll focus on that for a second. You take some sort of pain medicine or analgesic, I think that is acting on those and other receptors in your body, not telling your body's own receptors to start functioning better, or to start functioning more efficiently, or to start functioning in a more healing and protective way. Other benefits of CBD oil is that it helps because of its anti-inflammatory and pain reducing properties. It helps the joint and muscular dysfunction and joint and muscular disorders. I have to believe that if you're active at any part of your life and you played sports or whatever it is, you could be walking, it doesn't really matter, but you get to a certain point, things will start hurting. They do, and I can tell you that firsthand. My joints hurt sometimes. Sometimes it's because you're overweight. I'm overweight. I think I am. No one has to tell me that. I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason why I do have a continued knee pain. And so when I use products like the hemp oil or our tincture or whole hemp or anything like that, it's for that benefit, because it is naturally anti-inflammatory and naturally pain reducing. CBD oil does have naturally antioxidant properties. I am not sure how far that goes. Okay, like what is actually in this to create antioxidant properties. We'll study on that a little bit, and maybe we'll touch on that in a later series. But some of the more, I think, positives for everyday people is that there are no known side effects, which is definitely a benefit. It's non-addictive. That is a benefit. It is non-psychoactive. Unlike its THC brother, it is, or cousin, whatever you want to call it, that is psychoactive. But this is non-psychoactive, and it's actually immune boosting. Kind of important right now. It's not going to kill bacteria or virus. Let's not make any of those claims. We're not saying that, but it is naturally immune boosting. It helps the body. It helps the body systems do what their systems were already designed to do. It's not changing what your systems are doing. It's encouraging your systems to work in the way that they're already designed to work. So, how does this come? How do these oils come? Whether it be hemp seed oil, whether it be hemp oil, whether it be a combination of hemp and CBD, or THC and CBD oil. Where was all THC oil? But how these oils are coming in the form of a tincture. And a tincture, as we said before, is now that term is sort of interchangeable for any cannabinoid infused fluid or that comes in a 30 to 60 milliliter bottle. But traditionally, a tincture is a botanical extraction extracted through the solvent of alcohol. So agitation and alcohol will pull fats and cannabinoids out of botanical products. I think probably most of the oils and extracts that we had tried in our kitchens are made in that exact same way. Also, hemp oil uses are being used in liquids and beverages now, and topicals, salves, lotions, liniments, things that you can put onto your skin, hair and skin products, vape juices and vape oils, capsules, and even taken down to where all the fats and lipids are removed and you have this powdered isolated compound. So, which brings up a really good point. You say CBD and you say CBD oil, those are two different things. CBD in itself is just that isolated compound. The CBD is the compound in the oil. The oil itself is generally not 100% CBD. It is usually somewhere in between 10 to 40% CBD. If you got an isolated compound, if you removed all the fats and lipids and processed this CBD oil all down to the point where it's a powder, you will see that this is 100% CBD, or 99.9 or up to 99.9%. It's about the purest form of CBD you can get. So CBD and CBD oil. CBD itself is by the time everything else is extracted, all the other plant matter, you will have a powdered CBD that we call isolate. But if you want CBD oil, now you could mix that isolate into some oil. Then you add it into carrot oil. Now you have CBD oil. So that, but just know that there are two different things. This is why I'm saying that. And again, we talked about hemp oil and CBD. These oils can be used as carrier oils. I don't think anyone's using any sort of THC oil as a carrier oil, but probably just an oil in itself. Also, there's many other industrial uses, as we know, and hemp or CBD, as we talked about, and it has powerful antioxidant, curative, and anti-inflammatory properties. So. I hope that really clarifies some things today. Like I didn't think that was very long. I really wanted to kind of be more focused on the differences between the different oils. So when you're out shopping or you're online and you're looking at different things and you're seeing 3 or 4 different price points for what looks like the same thing, just know that hemp seed oil is not as effective, nor does it cost as much as or to extract usually as a hemp oil. Generally, if you're in a state where you can get sort of a mix of CBD and THC oil, look at the ingredients on the back. Look at what the carriers are. Look if there's any other additives. Sometimes they're blending oils. So just because there's oil in the bottle doesn't mean that it's super effective. Look at your milligrams. So as it says, 50 milligrams of CBD, and which may be effective than a 500 milligram bottle. It depends on what is in that bottle. If it's just isolated oil, you're getting an isolated compound and oil. You're getting CBD and oil, But if you're getting the full spectrum oil, which has the full range of cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, and especially in like when we talked about with the whole hemp, if it's a hemp extract with a hemp oil carrier, which is going to have cannabinoids, flavonoids, and terpenes, then you're getting sort of a full treatment of what the plant has to offer. I understand that everyone cannot take full spectrum oil. We do understand that. Definitely, as people who sell full spectrum oil, we really understand that because we get a lot of no's, especially in this area, because people cannot have any trace amounts of THC. Some people cannot, but if you can, not enough to get you high, and if that doesn't bother you, and you understand that there are multiple components that help you, whatever ailment, symptom that you are trying to solve, cure, heal, overcome, what have you, hemp oil is a great option. So I don't think there is too much more really that we have to cover today. I don't know. I think we got some questions. Thank Kathleen. Thank you for the comments. I do try to be honest and informative. I don't believe that coming on here and blowing smoke is going to help me, our company, or help any of the people who are watching this program. So that is our goal, is to be as straightforward and honest. And even if it doesn't always agree with our mission of selling products, but overall, I believe that if we're telling people the truth and we're giving them factual information that they can use, then that's going to work. That's going to go a lot longer with people and help us in our reputation with the general public. As always, I want to talk about our sources. Let's give props to the people who I've researched and helped come up with this information. Sometimes like we go out, we research things, and I come back here and I regurgitate it. I'm not making all this stuff up. I am not, a doctor or a scientist or anything like that. I'm a guy who runs a CBD company, and I'm out here trying to educate people so they can know what's in their products, and they can be, if they're interested in buying new products, they can be informed. So, sources. Foodbeast.com. I'm not sure what I got from Food Beast, but I love that name for the website. Healthy Hemp Oil, which in theory is our competition, but they have a really, really good blog. on CBD and where this stuff comes from. You check them out. Medium.com, the Harvard Health Blog, as in Harvard University. So they seem pretty trustworthy. Wikipedia, never know. Wikipedia gets they get praised and they get demonized a little bit. So I think because we can go in there and kind of manipulate it ourselves. And Medical Marijuana Inc., that was a really good source. So like always, we are thanking you for joining us. I know it's Friday. Most of us, I'm really blessed that I catch you guys at a time where most of us would be sitting at home and not at work, and you're trying to do this while you're either eating lunch or on your lunch break, or you're trying to do it at your desk. So hopefully it gets you we have a little more time to focus in on what we're saying in the message, because this is about the message, not about me, and it's sort of about Cherry Blossom CBD, but it's more about the message. But always, before I sign off, I want to thank. We did a podcast it was called the Biz Unwrapped Podcast, Gift Biz Unwrapped Podcast. Sue Mane, she's a great person. She makes ribbons, and she made this. She gave us a candle and a ribbon as a thanks for our podcast. Sue, I wanted to give you some props and say thank you. This is a great gift and very thoughtful. One of the things that I always say, I've been saying this since I was a chef back in the day, life is all about perspective, and it is. So that's a good tie-in. So this is about perspective. We're trying to change perspectives on CBD. So thank you, Sue. You want to find a great podcast on business and what business people are going through, small business people, Gift Biz Unwrapped Podcast, and you can like and see them on YouTube. Like and subscribe to them. But more importantly, for us, you can follow, like, subscribe, and share. Please do. We are at Cherry Blossom CBD on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. On Twitter, we are at cherry_CBD. So please like, follow, subscribe, and share. Most importantly, share this. If you find this content valuable, and share this with your friends, your family. Get some people to come on out here and subscribe to us so that we can I'm going to keep putting out content anyway. So the more people, the better. The more people are hearing the message, the better. The more people are getting clarity on what is going on with CBD, CBD oil, and hemp. And this is exactly what we're here for. So thank you. Thank you for your time today. And we'll see you next week. Next week's topic. Next week's topic is oral versus sublingual. I know that's probably the most racy topic, title of the topic that we've come up with so far. But what that is going to be talking about is, we talked about earlier, is there are 3 ways to take CBD oil. So that is orally, over the tongue, it's some sort of beverage or food, sublingually, which is under the tongue, usually in the form of droplets, and topically. So a couple more weeks, we'll talk about some topicals, but next week, we're going to talk about oral applications versus sublingual applications. So thank you very much, and enjoy this time at home with your families and your friends. I know take this time to kind of don't just relax and just chill out, and use this time to get ahead, push yourself ahead, your business, your job, get these things done around the house, the things you've been trying to get done when it's too busy. So, this thing here, I noticed when it started, it was a little shorter, but now this is, I go to the barbershop. I love you, my barber. If he's out there watching, I love you, man, but I ain't going. So, this is going to keep on happening. I think it's just going to keep growing as we do this series. So, I'm calling it my Frovit, hashtag Frovit. This is my COVID fro going on. So, as we go on throughout the weeks, it gets a little crazy. Don't judge me. I don't know. It's going to get a little nuts, but it's here to stay. So, that's it. We'll catch you next week. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.